And joining us on the line this morning, Lisa Spencer from the Indiana County Department of Human Services. Conversation brought to you by Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. She is putting on her sunblock now because tomorrow she's going to be at Family Nature Palooza at Blue Spruce Park. Linda, I keep calling you Linda. Wonder why. Lisa, good morning.
Good morning. I know I've heard that all morning. Linda was Lisa. Lisa was Linda.
I know.
Okay.
I can't keep scheduling Linda and Lisa on the same day. It's
no problem. I don't mind. I don't mind that at all. So, so tomorrow is Family Nature Palooza out of Blue Spruce. It runs from 9 to 3, and it's free for families. So if you pre-registered, that would be great. It'll be a lot quicker to get through the registration process, but you can also walk in and just come out. It's just to have some fun time with your family tomorrow and just experience a lot of different activities. So should be a good time.
Yeah, kids can bring their bikes and helmets and just have a good time with it. Good time.
Right. And it should be nice weather.
Yeah, it's going to be great weather. All right, so that's 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. tomorrow, but the reason we're talking with you today is a very serious thing, and that is the ERAP program. For folks who don't know what ERAP is, this is a program that will help you with your rent or your utility payments if you are a renter, and especially if you are behind in your payments and you need some help. This is a program where Indiana County has about $5.5 million to spend, but they're under a deadline to get a certain amount of it allocated without having to give it back. So we don't want to give that money back. We want to put it into the hands of people that it can really help. So, Lisa, take it from there.
Okay, so basically what we have is, I think the application process has slowed down in the last week. I think we've only received a few, but the good news is we were able to get the approved households up to 69. So we were able to get up to $200,595 paid out in rent and utility expenses for people who are behind on rent and utility payments. So that's it's a drop in the bucket compared to $5.5 million. We understand that, but for these 69 households, it made all the difference in the world. So we're hoping that we can just keep working on getting the pending. We have 222 pending still, but many of those are college applications that they're already gone out of the unit, so we're probably not going to be able to help those. So they're trying really hard now to weed down through those, and really they're waiting on people to get their information back to ICAP so that they can approve these applications.
Yeah, usually when people fall behind, it's so hard to catch up because you might have the money to meet your current bill, but when you double that or triple that, if you've missed 2 months, then or 3 months, then that's when it becomes a real problem and it snowballs on you, and you don't want that to happen. So when we think about utilities, when we think about the actual rent that people are paying, here's a source of income that is going to help you to get even again and get you off on the right foot as you head into this summer. So people really need to take advantage of this.
I think so, especially because when you add all those extra fees, late fees and everything to the bill, it does get to be unmanageable if that carries over from month to month to month. So you can quickly see how people get in over their heads a little bit with just paying minimum payments and stuff. So it's just really important, especially since we're still under that rent moratorium until the end of June. If that rent moratorium is not extended, then people really might be up for eviction, and so they really need to think about how to get things current right now, because if they have to move somewhere else, they can't have a backlog of arrearage in rent or utilities to move into a new place.
All right, so but we want to highlight that once more. So for folks who have been relying upon that moratorium in order to stay in their apartment but still haven't caught up on the rent, which is so hard to do, they could be 6, 7, 8 months behind because they just haven't had it, but they've had the advantage of being there. But the money is still owed, and so that being the case, this program really is going to benefit them.
Absolutely. And I think the one thing that people really need to understand is exactly what you just said. That money is still payable. People are responsible for that back rent, and that will follow you to another rental unit if you do have to move. So it's really critical right now that people, kind of look into this and call to see if they're eligible for this money. Now, we've had, just a few more homeowners call, and unfortunately this program is not for anyone who actually owns their home. We have 18 right now that no longer live with their landlord. We've had 9 households that were over the 80% AMI, the area median income.
Mm-hmm.
So 33 households decided that they no longer needed assistance. We've had 29 duplicate applications, which mean they're the same application for the same household, so you can only take one application. And we've had 25 that weren't COVID-related at all, and 3 that were out-of-county and out-of-state residents that had applied. So in that 125 application of the 125 applications that have been denied, there's a pretty substantial part of them that have absolute reasons and guidelines for why they can't be helped. But the 25 that weren't COVID-related, many of those are falling into students.
Yeah. And the unfortunate thing there is here's a landlord, a student, or not just a student, but anybody has skipped out on their rent and has left with this huge bill. This program is not going to help those landlords catch up, is it?
No, and that's the most unfortunate part, I believe, about this, because if the rules were different, what I would have liked to have seen is for the federal government to really think about the landlords and the utility companies, to make them whole again. It was no fault of their own through COVID, that they had been in these situations. And I really feel like the landlord shouldn't be losing out. They still have payments to make. If they have mortgage payments, they still have tax payments to make on their properties. And it just seems a little bit unfair. That's the one key that I really wish they would have included, that even if the students had left, I wish we could make the landlords whole. It's just not allowed. It's not in the guidelines that that's an allowable expense.
It really should be, because here there's the moratorium prevents them from evicting somebody, and that's great for the person who is renting. But then when those people find out, okay, I'm just going to skip out and go home to wherever that might be, or try to get to some other place, then the landlord is left holding that big unpaid rent that really he had no chance to get because of the moratorium, and so he's out of luck, and that's unfortunate, but that's the way the system is. Meanwhile, we're working under a system that does allow people who do continue to rent, and if they are behind in their rent payments or their utilities, we haven't really highlighted that much, but your electric bill, your water bill, all of those things, if you're a renter, this program helps you too. This is a chance to, you've used the phrase a couple of times, become whole again.
Absolutely. I think the most important thing is for people, now that, we've had 416 applications come in, so we are getting the word spread across. But if you are somebody listening to this right now and you know a friend or a family member who is in this situation as a renter, behind on their rent utilities, then please have them call ICAP at 724-465-2657. I just spoke with Vicki yesterday, Vicki Allen, over at ICAP, and the phones are rather quiet over there in regards to the ERAP program. So we have people available for help if people, to try to assist people. We just need the residents of Indiana County to call if they're renting. And even if people are having trouble this month, if you're having trouble this month meeting your rent and or utility payments, and you're renting, and you can show that this is COVID related, or if you are strictly on unemployment right now and you are under that 80% area median income, you qualify for this help. So I really, I'm just imploring people to really look at their options right now and just look to see that this is the best way that you're going to get all of your utilities and rent current to get you boosted into a better situation as we move into the summer.
So that rent moratorium is going to end at some point, and we're not sure exactly when. We don't have a date on that yet, do we?
Right now it's June 30th, but that's only because the judge has declared that unconstitutional, but there's an appeal process going on. So my guess is we're going to run that out at the end of June. So we have no indication whether or not that will be extended or even could be extended. Mm-hmm. So right now our best guess is June 30th might be the end of the moratorium. And right now also we have nothing in writing to change anything that we're for overseeing the ERAP program, that the 65% threshold as of the end of July is still in effect right now. So we're getting there very quickly because we're going to be, hitting mid-June next week. And, we're going to be having to really dial in on some of these applications to see whether or not we can assist people. So if people really have applications out and they do not have their documentation back, this is the time to do it, because there will be a time where we'll have to cut that money off if we have to give information back to the federal government and to the state to say this is our ending date. Yeah. So we don't want to leave anybody out. So I'm telling everybody this is your best time to get your information together so you don't get left out.
Once the rent moratorium ends, then the bills come due and you're going to have to pay it. Lisa, thank you so much for spending time with us this morning about ERAP. Again, give the number for ICAP to people to call and get into the pipeline.
It is 724-465-2657. And you can also find the information on the WCCS website. You can also find it on ICAP's Facebook page and the Indiana County Department of Human Services Facebook page. So it's right there. So if you know of somebody who might be eligible for this program, please give them this information.
All right, beautiful. Enjoy Family Nature Palooza. Put your sunscreen on, okay?
All right, sounds great. My favorite event of the year. All right, have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.